Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump absolutely dominated tonight. President Trump absolutely dominated tonight. To my super chat, thank you. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people. I don't have political action committees that funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars from one PAC to another. But I have the best viewership. Pound for pound, I have the best channel in terms of viewership in all of YouTube. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you all for being here. This was absolutely a monumental victory for President Trump. And we'll get to Botox be the exhumed body right now. And first and foremost, Barbara Krieg, thank you so very much. Raphael Koch, I thought the moderator was way better than the last one. Absolutely, she was wonderful. She tried some gotcha questions with Trump, but let him talk more and wasn't combative. Exactly. Raphael Koch, I agree 100% with you. J-Spot51, I like you can't handle the truth. Exactly. J-Spot51, not only did he say if, but he would say it again. There were so many great lines. I'm going to get to so many great lines. J-Spot51, the great Bubalinsky. It's me, Simon. Hope you like my new handle. Exactly. And PJP72, he was amazing. He spoke directly to the people that needed to hear him. I would have passed on him on the... Okay, so... See, I actually like that. I want dreamers to be citizens immediately. I have friends who are dreamers. I want dreamers to be citizens immediately. President Trump already offered that. Democrats said no way. Morpheus, good debate. PJP72, thank you as always. As always, Morpheus, very, very good debate. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't want... Okay, Botox B is done. There's no more campaign for the former vice president. He's done. He's not going to win. I've been telling you two things. One, Madam Secretary is going to come in. I'm still going with that because I can't imagine they'd be so inept to go with somebody they have no chance with. Two, I've been telling you that President Trump's going to win regardless. On November 3rd, be here. Tell your friends, by the way, tell your family, tell everybody you know to subscribe to H.A. Goodman. We're at 150,000 subscribers. Please go ahead. Tell them to subscribe. Let's get to 160,000. Let's get to 160,000. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you for being the best moderators in all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump won, and he won because they don't want Medicare for all. They don't... Okay, Biden and Democrats do not want Medicare for all. They are lying to voters. They are lying to their most impressionable, most idealistic voters. They don't want to pack the courts. They know it's not feasible. And they're also not telling the truth. They don't want to abolish the Electoral College, although they'll lose because of the Electoral College, obviously. And here's the hypocrisy. They don't have a popular vote system for their primaries. They go state by state, and sometimes they don't even use a popular vote within the state, like in Iowa, for example. Bernie Sanders won the popular vote in Iowa. So they're the biggest, most deceitful, disingenuous hypocrites on the planet. They don't want to ban... Well, first of all, Biden did say he wants to ban fracking. Washington Post, Biden indicates from debate stage that he would ban all fracking March 18th, 2020. Now he's saying he would ban fracking only on federal land. The man wants to ban all fracking. Okay, if you believe it, go with it. Bernie Sanders would ban all fracking. Bernie Sanders is a type of person who will support somebody who doesn't support anything he wants. And in terms of being tough on Kim Jong-un, President Trump, that's the reason I'm voting for President Trump. One of the main reasons, numerous reasons. President Trump has allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever and made that funding permanent. President Obama and Biden did not. Biden presided over a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity for the same narcotic that his son has used, except made in different form. A 100-to-1 sentencing disparity, the 100 oftentimes being people of color, the one being the person that looks like his son, who, by the way, wrote those messages and text messages and emails. They don't want Medicare for all. They want Biden care, which is hilarious. What is Biden care? They've spent 4 years on Medicare for all, Medicare for all. Single payer, single payer. Democrats give nothing to the left, and they're more militant. So why would you vote for a Democrat if you're on the left? I have no clue why. And the same thing they said about Trump, they said about Bernie Sanders. They've called Bernie Sanders a misogynist. They've called Bernie Sanders a racist. I know I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Every single dirty trick they pulled on Trump, they pulled on Bernie Sanders, the difference being Trump fights back. The Lincoln Project is okay with Bernie Sanders. Why? Why is the Lincoln Project and Bernie Sanders voting for the same person? Let's assume they're going with Biden, although my prediction continues. I cannot even fathom. Let's assume they go with Biden. He's going to lose miserably, decisively. There's no way that this man, the polls are not accurate. And tonight, President Trump said, you've been there for 50 years. Why haven't you accomplished all the things you want to accomplish as president? The notion of Biden being president is hilarious. It's the most absurd, completely irrational. This is a man who, with Charlemagne the God, who doesn't like Trump. Charlemagne the God can't stand Trump. This is a man who's insulted 40 million African Americans and black voters, saying, if you have a problem voting for me or Trump, then you ain't who you are. Then you ain't black. But Trump is the supremacist. But Biden is not the supremacist, and he actually wrote a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity portion of the crime bill that ushered in an era of mass incarceration that began the systemic injustices that Democrats say. So Democrats are going to address the systemic injustices that they created or that they helped push through with establishment Republicans. Because President Trump signed prison reform, and then you have liberals, prison reform. Oh my gosh, President Trump, he's bringing up prison reform again. Yeah, well, the two people you're voting for helped push in an era of mass incarceration. Oh, by the way, you want to know what the rebuttal is? You want to know what the rebuttal is for people who say that? You want to know what the rebuttal is for people who say that Biden didn't use the word super predator? The rebuttal is that he didn't say the word super predator. Hillary Clinton did. Do you not see? And then they get on Trump for saying he's the least racist person on the stage. He is. That's true. Biden, his actions have been infinitely more racist. And Biden used the word predator. Madam Secretary said super predators who must be brought to heel and who lack empathy. And she did better, according to the polls among black and Latino voters. Biden is doing worse. And among black men, Trump is doing a lot better than any Republican in a long time. 14 to 15% of black men voted for President Trump in 2016. 30% of Latinos and Hispanic voters, almost 30%, voted for President Trump in 2016. President Trump got the Catholic vote in 2016. President Trump is going to win either a number or at least one of those swing states needed to win the Electoral College. He wins 272, that's fine. It's 270 to win. But I don't see it becoming close. The great Bubelinski, thank you. PJP72, thank you. Morpheus, thank you. Jay Sladham. I'm just here to say old school dad man. Old school dad man. Thank you, Jay. The great Bubelinski. Trump definitely took the high road tonight. Oh, you saw he was on his best behavior. Agent Pepsi won. Dems lie because they are never called out on. Exactly. Anthony, Andrea. HA, thoughts on the debate? Trump was focused on presidential. Can Trump do next order to release stimulus for individuals and small businesses? I don't think he could try to, but then the power of the purse lies with Congress. So I think he could try to do that, but it would be more symbolic. Ricardo P. Latinos for Trump. Justin Mooney. Ricardo, thank you. I think the Latino vote is going to propel President Trump. And the African American and black vote, especially black men, I think is going to really, I think these demographics will really help President Trump. I think that Democrats expect people of color. They expect loyalty. This is a political party. Not okay. Then they bring up the Central Park Five. Who do you think put the Central Park Five in prison for something they didn't do? Democrats. Who do you think runs New York? You think New York is a red state? It's all Democrats. Liberals love to bring up injustices that they happen to preside over. Where do you think Eric Garner was murdered? In New York. Where do you think George Floyd was murdered? In Minneapolis. Where do you think the Central Park Five was put in prison? Oh, that's right, New York. Democratic mayor, Democratic prosecutors, Democratic governor. Mario Cuomo was governor. I believe it was Ed Koch who was mayor. So he brings up, I mean, everything points back. When they point a finger at Trump, they have three fingers pointing back at them. Always. Always. They're atrocious on issues pertaining to race. Atrocious. But no one calls them on it. Because when Kamala Harris calls Biden a segregationist or said that he worked with segregationists, and oh, by the way, he accepted an award from George Wallace and then said that Delaware was on the side of the Confederacy. So, I mean, the liberals are the left, primarily liberals, some progressives, mainly the left in general. They tube in themselves all the time with the notion of being morally superior. It's not being, and who built the cages? Who built them? It was President Obama's administration. And you want to talk about giving young people to insidious individuals who preside in trafficking? That was a Senate panel during President Obama's administration. Look up New York Magazine. Or the Senate panel. So those cages were built under Democrats. Those cages were built by Democrats. And it was a policy. If you look, further separation was an Obama administration policy that started in 2014 and continued by the Trump administration. That is townhall.com. Townhall.com. And they say, well, it wasn't the exact policy. It's like they always want to split hairs. At the height of the controversy of Trump's zero-tolerance policy, photos that circulated online were taken in 2014 of unaccompanied minors held by President Barack Obama. Okay. The Obama administration separated migrant children from families under certain limited circumstances. So, but they engaged in another situation that the Senate panel talked about. That was even more atrocious. That I'm against the separation. I'm 100%. I think that was a wrong policy under President Trump. Very wrong. I'm 100% against that. You want to know what happened? President Trump reversed it pretty soon after the uproar. But Democrats have continued to try to capitalize on the suffering of others, and they have not. Where's the comprehensive immigration bill? Oh, that's right. You know where it is? The same place they're hiding the Medicare for All bill. The same place they're hiding the Medicare for All bill. The same place they're hiding the bill to abolish the Electoral College or pack the courts. They don't want to do any of these things. They're the most deceitful, dishonest, disingenuous political party that's ever existed. At least President Trump says we're reversing U.S. foreign policy. We're ending our involvement in Afghanistan. We're ending our involvement in Iraq. We're bringing home Americans, or we're removing them at least. We're removing Americans from Syria. Yeah, you know what? He's a bad person. But we don't want to be hawkish and militant, or at least we don't want continual tension with authoritarians like Kim Jong-un. Democrats say, oh, we'll do better. Well, they've been in power for Biden was there for 50 years. 50 years. If you can't fix a car, or if you can't go on a vacation, or if you can't, do what you've always wanted to do in 50 years, and what has Biden done? Crime bill, Libya. Why doesn't Hunter and Pelosi vacation in Tripoli? Gee, I wonder why. Why don't the Lincoln Project people go to Tripoli or Baghdad or Kabul or any city where their foreign policy has brought democracy and stability? Oh, that's right. They fear for their lives. So they're the biggest hypocrites. President Trump has a foreign policy that used to be a liberal foreign policy. It's the Democrats who have a hawkish, militant foreign policy. They're the biggest, most disingenuous liars of all time. Justin Mooney. Trump had a clear, confident voice. Botox B sounded weak and confused. And did you notice, Justin, that he seemed almost like startled and he didn't know where he was sometimes? People will vote for Trump for the entertainment factor alone. Exactly. The exhumed one is boring. Exactly. Paint watches him dry. Justin. Biden is so boring, paint watches him dry. Loud citizen. Trump fights back. Biden checks his watch. Exactly. Old school dad man, all about appealing to different voters tonight. Exactly. Old school dad man. That's right. Neo to you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Neo to you. Siddharth Shrikamal, hello. Media creates fake stories. Exactly. Moderator and middle class Joe brings up the fake stories. Exactly. Trump has to call out. Exactly. And fakes and attack them back. Exactly. And he does so for all of us. Like President Trump fights for all of us. Exactly. Siddharth, thank you. He's doing so because you can't rely on the New York Times accountants to give accurate stories on Trump's taxes they haven't seen. By the way, you know what happens if the IRS finds massive fraud? You go to jail. You go to prison. Gee, I wonder why nobody in the IRS has had an issue with Trump's taxes, because he hasn't done anything wrong. The United States government under President Obama had his tax returns. And Mueller apparently saw them. Van Chagarwal! Biden epically fumbled on fracking. Oh, yeah, he stated, according to the Washington Post, and he even stated he wants to ban fracking. There goes Pennsylvania and perhaps other swing states. And Trump put Biden on a major defensive regarding mass incarceration. That's right. They better protect Bublinsky from... Van Chagarwal, thank you. Old school dad man. 40 of 50 governors put elderly... Oh, my God. Guess who? All 40%. All Dems, 40% of all passages. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's truly criminal. James Ferguson. Why is the goddess Hillary? I have no clue, but I don't trust them at all. James Ferguson. I don't trust them at all. James. Thank you, James. I'm still holding on to Clinton replacing Biden, and if it's just Biden, then he loses. So we party no matter what. Another laptop. Oh my God. That's my vice president's son imitation. James Ferguson, thank you. Aaron Paradiso. So do you think Hunter will be old news after tonight? No, I think. What new do you think we learned? Look, Bubalinsky came out today, said the emails are legitimate, real, authentic. NPR has a hilarious. They don't want to cover the story because they don't think it's accurate, but they covered the Steele dossier. The Steele dossier was literally purchased by Clinton, and it was full of nonsense. Thank you, Aaron. Voice of reason. Biden's family's like a vacuum cleaner. Exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight you have a contrast of two types of individuals. One is an individual that parrots the New York Times, the Washington Post. They coddle and they treat him like a newborn baby quail. A newborn baby quail. I have never seen in the history, there's never been in the history of politics, in the history of media, there's never been a politician who has been so coddled and supported and propped up and caressed and nurtured like a newborn baby quail. Biden, don't talk about Hunter's emails. Don't talk about them. It's Russian disinformation. Fly, Biden. Fly. We love you. Put a little milk in his mouth. Put a little milk. You're gonna get orange man bad. Biden, fly. Plop. There's never been a person so coddled, supported, propped up by media. Everything. Charlemagne the God comment, immediately then the Washington Post, damage control. He plays Despacito on his phone, damage control. I mean, everything is damage control. Everything is damage control. Every single thing is damage control. Everything's damage control. Everything's damage control. Everything is like everything is Trump versus the world. A Trump orange man bad, and Biden, he's really, really good, and he's better than Trump, and you know the polls say he's better. You look, and it's like the former vice president was, the former vice president is a hollow, disingenuous politician that got rich from deals brokered by his son, who's never accomplished anything, who's the opposite of a salt of the earth, good moral human being. Ask Tara Reid, why was there not one question about Tara Reid? That should tell you what Democrats are all about. Not one question about Tara Reid. Not one question about Tara Reid. Not one question about, barely any questions about the actual laptop with his words. So, voice of reason. Biden's family's like vacuum. Exactly. Hoovering up the corrupt payments worldwide. Nice one, Trumpy. Exactly. Voice of reason. Pavel. Thank you, voice of reason. Pavel. Daniel Swinto. Name my son Lincoln Daniel. God bless you. God bless you. Pavel. Congrats. Name my son Lincoln Daniel. God bless Lincoln Daniel. God bless you, Pavel. Congratulations. Give Pavel a lot of love. Give Pavel a lot of love. Congrats, Pavel. God bless you. Aria Lee. Love you all. Trump won tonight. Big time. Absolutely big time. TX Les Paul. Aria, thank you as always. Took another walk with my wife. 138 Trump signs. 212 Biden signs. I included all the slow for sale I break for children. TX Les Paul. Thank you, TX Les Paul. Thank you. Trump Lord 9000. Oh, the horror. President Trump threw baby quail on the brown stomach. Exactly. Thank you, Trump Lord. Greg Steiner. Greg, thank you, Greg. Thank you. PJP 72. People who voted Trump because they want a conservative court and to repeal their strategy, pack the courts and expand. Well, exactly. PJP 72. And they're not going to pack the courts. That's what they don't want. Aria Lee. Exactly. President Trump won tonight. You liberals lost. Exactly. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable that you have two people. You have two types of people. Okay? You have a type of person who wants a different type of foreign policy. You want a person who is against counterinsurgency conflicts, against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And you have a type of person who wants who is okay with tariffs against China. The type of person who says, you know what, I'll deal with mean tweets and I'll deal with a little bit of a belligerent personality, but I want good things to take place, like record low unemployment. Oh, who cares about that? We don't have it now, because Democratic states have shut down their economies. And it's interesting. You would think Democratic states, with their love of science, would have the best outcomes in terms of the pandemic. They have the absolute worst outcomes. Look at the New York Times statistics. Highest fatality rate, one measurement, and the greatest number of lives lost. And then they get around their shameful and horrendous track record by saying, well, the cases are up the most in states that are red. That's what Biden had the audacity to say. Yeah, because people are living their lives. And guess what? Most of those people are surviving, the vast majority. The vast majority. They don't want to talk about survival. Survival is a bad word. It's a profane word. Life, survival, working, economy is profanity to Democrats. It's absolute profanity. They don't want to talk about that. That's like, you're going to lose your life. That's what Biden is saying. You can't say that. You can't say that to voters. You're going to lose your life in the next couple of you're going to, you can't look into the camera and say, your future is nothing but the grave. That's what this guy is hilarious. And you vote for me and I'll make sure your future is not the grave. He didn't even say that. He didn't even say that. They wanted to impeach him. They did impeach him. And then they claimed, we were searching and longing for, and then we were longing for somebody who would lead us. They didn't want anyone to lead them. They wanted Trump out of the way always. That's all they cared about, is Trump out of the way. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about anything else. And then Bob Woodward, do you know what President Trump stated in the Bob Woodward tapes? That was public record knowledge. There were articles saying this pandemic is going to cause 1 million to 2 million people to lose their lives. That did not happen. Then the former vice president says, 2 200,000 Americans will lose their lives? Really? Where? Nebraska? Or God forbid, New York or New Jersey, God forbid, God bless those places, but New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Pennsylvania, these states have had the worst outcomes. Why is it that when Democrats embrace science, the worst happens? Then you have Fauci going back and forth, starting off saying everything that President Trump was saying, by the way, and then going, oh, well, we've talked about it, and now we finally, I think the consensus is obvious. Like, well, why would you shut down the American economy? Do you understand there are consequences? And the states that have shut down their economies have the highest fatality rates and the highest number of lives lost. Go look at the New York Times. I'm not making it up. Go look at the aggregate statistics. Do you want to know why they don't look at the aggregate statistics? Because the aggregate statistics show that Democrats are completely incompetent. The aggregate numbers show that Democrats are completely and utterly incompetent. But then they say, oh, well, yeah, New York's governor has done a fantastic job. Really, how is that possible? How is it possible? Let's look at New York Times. So let me see if I can. Okay, so they're big fans of talking about cases going up. Okay. So, hold on. The total number of lives lost. Total number of lives lost. You look at New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Michigan. So, New York, California, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the top 10 states with the most aggregate lives lost are Democratic run. New York, California, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Okay? Then you have, if you want to talk about fatality rate, you have New Jersey and New York that lead the nation. Lives lost per 100,000 people. New York and New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut. The top 4 are all Democratic run. And then you have Jonathan Swan saying, I was talking about percentage of population. Well, Jonathan Swan, why don't you look at the New York Times statistics? If you don't have incompetent Democrats, you have a different number. Go look at the New York Times Democrats. The New York Times doesn't make anything up. It is real news, right? It is the actual, real, legitimate news. Per 100,000, lives lost per 100,000. New Jersey, and God bless the people of these states. The Democrats have let them down. New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all Democratic run. Then you have then Rhode Island, and then D.C. is there, and then Illinois. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 of the top 10. Highest rate per 100,000 for lives lost. 7 of the top 10 in aggregate number of lives lost. So it's like, but see, they don't want life to be normal. Everything is doom and gloom because it's Trump. Everything is doom and gloom because it's Trump. Sandiford! Mondale was leading the polls in 84 too. Exactly. So was Michael Dukakis in 88. Sandiford, thank you. Greg Steiner. if Trump wins re-election, you think this will be the last time we see all career politicians like Bernie, Biden, Schumer? Greg, I think that there are going to be some career politicians that can try to, break the mold. I fear for the country after President Trump wins re-election. President Trump's going 8 years. The man is going 8 years. He's going to win re-election. And if I went on if I'm still waiting, because, I've been scarred and traumatized by the 2016 election. But if they go with Biden, he has no chance to win. Trump will win re-election. However, after in 2024, I don't know what happens because Republicans will try to go back to being Republicans. And there isn't going to be this political tsunami called Trump. Now, if he grooms his son, Donald Trump Jr., I'll vote for Donald Trump Jr. I'll vote for any Trump, Ivanka, Eric, anybody. I'll vote for Barron Trump, but he's not old enough. But that media machine is not stopping. And they'll be just as scorned. And I don't think they're going to realize why they lost, and I don't think they're going to care. No matter what happens to the Democratic Party. Bud, 3-3-4-5. Did you see Biden when Melania walked in front of him after the debate to get to Trump? I thought he was going to do it. Probably. Probably. I did. You know what? I didn't. But I think I saw that. I was like, I think I saw that. Bud 3-3-4-3-4-3-33-45. Yes. Sid Hart, trick them all. The media portrays Trump's base as uneducated. But never calls the Democratic base. Yes, Sid Hart, trick them all. All they are is they have the most warped public relations. The public relations of Democrats is going to be their undoing because they just sit atop euphemisms. George Orwell called euphemisms verbal refuse. That's all they throw around is verbal refuse. Sigma Nu, UCLA, greetings. AJ, more fake news. These 500 come with strange. Per Fox News, Biden to allow amnesty 11. Yeah, Sigma Nu UCLA, they're not going to, I think that he was referring to Dreamers, but even Democrats didn't do anything for Dreamers. All Trump wanted was money for the wall, and he said you could have Dreamers become citizens tomorrow. But that's only a fraction of the 11 million. Democrats don't have an immigration bill. They don't have a Medicare for All bill. They don't have a Green New Deal bill. They have a resolution, which is a failed public relations stunt because everyone said, "What? Do away with air travel and cows passing gas? Oh my God!" And then it was like, "No, we're not going to do away with air travel." It's like, well, you sent out a frequently asked questions. No, we're not going to do away with air travel. It was in your frequently asked. It was within the answers. And by the way, Kamala Harris and Biden don't want the Green New Deal. They don't want it. Golden Moo Moo. I'll be 50 points ahead by now. Madam Cyberhack. Can I tell you, Golden Moo Moo, I love you. I love you. Golden Moo Moo, thank you so very much. I will be seeing you soon. I just can't imagine them going with Biden. The prediction still stands. Anyway, if anybody wants to give me heat, just do it on November 3rd because we'll win. We're going to win on November 3rd. Biden has zero enthusiasm. This man, I mean, we're talking, could be not Mondale, but could be like a Michael Dukakis, or could be like the same thing as last election, which was pretty good victory. All you need is one or two. You don't need Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin or Minnesota. You need 2 of the 4 or 1 of the 4. If you there's Minnesota is in play. Michigan is in play. Wisconsin is in play, and Pennsylvania is in play. You just need one of Michigan, either one, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Minnesota. If he wins Minnesota, he's already won. It's very, very close, though. He can lose Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Wins Minnesota, it's close. But if he wins Minnesota and Nevada, Nevada's in play. Nevada's in play. So, Luke St. Martin, Cornflakes is a bad dude. Go Rudy. That's right. That's right. Luke St. Martin, part of the team of Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, the two best moderators in all of YouTube. Luke St. Martin, thank you so very, very, very much. Greatly appreciated. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Aria Lee, HA Rocks Trump 2020. Aria, you are absolutely wonderful, and thank you for always being here. Thank you so very, very much. Aria Lee, thank you. Luke, thanks for everything, always. But yeah, I mean, President Trump won. He won. And there's nothing they can do. They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. When it comes to science, when it comes to all their recommendations on anything. The statistics never point to Democratic Party victories. The pandemic has been an absolute tragedy and a travesty. Look at the numbers. They have dropped the ball, not Trump. President Trump can't tell governors what to do. There's something called state government and federal government. The federal government doesn't have that much authority over what a state does. That's why when you had leaders in Portland and other locations who were like, yeah, this is fantastic as the cities just burn to the ground, it's not like he could just do whatever he wanted to do. The leaders have to ask for help. And it's the leaders who, if you send elderly people to old age homes, like what happened in New York, that's the type of thing where people lose their lives. The aggregate numbers are horrendous for Democrats in terms of fatalities per 100,000, in terms of overall lives lost. You want to talk about the crime bill? Okay. You want to talk about Libya? You want to talk? I mean, President Trump said this, and it's true. P.E. After the debate, cornflakes endorsed. P.E. But, I mean, Tony Bubalinsky. Okay? Tony Bubalinsky. Wall Street Journal. Now corruption stories about Joe, not Hunter. There you go. There you go. Do you want to know what the big rebuttal is also? This is a hilarious, hilarious, hilarious rebuttal. Fact check. What was it? Biden didn't use the word predator, super predator. Yeah, he used the word predator. It was Hillary. Like, how is that? Does that make you look good as a political party? And it wouldn't be so egregious if you didn't pontificate all the time. They truly believe they're morally superior. They truly believe they're intellectually superior. They're inferior on both counts. They lost the election because they're so hypocritical and they're so corrupt they can't type an email. It might be the case that Democrats will never again win an election because there are probably emails and laptops and computers and Anthony Wieners flying around everywhere and people tubining all the time. How do you tubin on a live stream or a Zoom meeting? How do you not know? When I stop the live stream, I make sure I'm, very diligent. And then I tubin. No, I'm joking. But so then what? How do you do that in a Zoom meeting? And then you spend your life talking about how horrible Trump is? When was the last time Trump tubined himself on a Zoom meeting? I want to know. Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Tell me more about how Donald Trump Jr. is terrible, but Hunter's okay because he actually wrote emails and people and wealthy business people from around the world wrote him emails thanking him for meeting his father. How does that even work? California veteran. Trump 2020. HA, you're a rock star. Raiders hat, please. Yes. Go Raiders. Big game coming up against Tampa Bay. California veteran, thank you. Thank you, California veteran. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated, California veteran. Thank you. They are done. They are done. It's pretty much done. The polls are public relations press releases. November 3rd, I don't think... See, when you say... when you look at the polls that are already skewed, and they're like, yeah, this age group, seniors and this and independents, they're all voting for Biden. That's what this poll says. And Trump really has no path to victory. It's like, well, why? Why is... are they voting for Biden because he wrote the crime bill and because for 50 years he's done so many things that are noteworthy and so many paradigm-changing, positive things? Well, these polls say that Trump has an uphill battle. Did Biden preside over record low unemployment? Was he the first president to step foot in North Korea? Is he drawing down American presence? Is he ending counterinsurgency conflicts started by the Lincoln Project people, the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld imbeciles, and continued by President Obama and Biden's smart power with Madam Secretary? We came, we saw. Now you have Tony Bublinsky, who's the man. And the emails are legitimate. They're real. Notice how everyone's like, gosh, I just don't know if it's real. Well, you didn't. They obsessed over a dossier that was unverified. Not only unverified, unverified was another word for completely made up. Completely and utterly fabricated. Was the dossier fabricated? Yes. Did everyone in media obsess over it? Yes. Did anyone say, no, we're not going to cover the dossier because it was fabricated? No. Then why would you do that? Why would you suddenly care about the authenticity of parchment or documents, or in this case, emails that were actually written? So if an email is actually written, by the vice president's son, then you don't cover that. But if because there's questions about whether it's foreign interference, and now we know the Steele dossier was literally Russian disinformation. So how does that work? Aussie woman! Australian MSM is exactly like your American MSM. Exactly. I know. I can't wait to see how they report and respond to Trump's win on November 3rd. Love HA, love Trump, and most of all, I love God. And God bless you, Aussie woman. Thank you so very, very much. And look, the media in Australia, media in the U.S., they're all going to just implode. They're all going, oh my God, Trump won. This is the power of uneducated people who are supremacists and believe in Putin, and this is just horrible, and our republic is over, and the Constitution is ripped up, and I'm moving out of the country, and oh my God, Barbara Streisand is upset, oh my, Bette Midler's upset, everyone's upset, oh my God, and then it's going to be, that's the best reaction. You have no idea. Like, we have no idea how they're going to react the next day. That's called the hangover. The next day is the hangover. Aussie woman, thank you so very much. Thank you, Aussie woman. Thank you. Clem joke. I wonder if Trump has talked to any Supreme Court justices about whether votes would be invalidated if Hillary runs in his place. They won't. He might have. He might have. But those votes would go to Madam Secretary also. He might have, though. He's probably spoken to academics, lawyers, and they probably told him, you know what? Look, all of those votes are going to go to the person standing at the end. But it was so, and you saw. I love the fact that he was on his best behavior. Aussie woman, everybody here. You saw him. He was like, okay, and he's like a kid, I mean, he's so genuine. Trump is the most genuine president we've had in a long time. There's nothing. They say that he's this bully and he lies all the time, but they're the ones who lie all the time. They lie with even their mannerisms. Trump doesn't. If he's upset, you see him. He's like, flush red or, a certain type of orange. And like they are, President Trump is like the most honest in terms of his emotions. When he's upset, he lets you know he's upset. You saw Biden, he looked like Jack Skellington. Nightmare. Tell me he did not look like Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas. How many people have seen Nightmare Before Christmas? Great, great animation. Okay. Tell me he's like, tell me he didn't look like tell me he didn't look like Nightmare Before Christmas. Please tell me. That's he has this fake, almost plastic look. That's why I call him Botox B, the exhumed body. He's I don't even want to diss Jack Skellington from Nightmare on Elm Street. The man looks like, essentially a fake and a phony, and somebody who got very rich from his son, from his brothers, it's a racket, and it's Tammany Hall, and it's part of U.S. history. You don't have to. He's like, I gave my tax returns. Well, you didn't tell them you're taking a cut. You didn't tell them you're taking a cut of the money. Or maybe the houses are in Hunter's name. Who knows? The IRS has Trump's taxes. It's so hilarious. What are you hiding? The United States government. This is something Democrats should please understand. It's just basic logic. We know you have a problem, Democrats. The United States government has his tax returns. You don't need the fake and phony accountants at the New York Times to pour over them as if they know what they're doing. They're barely journalists. They're certainly not accountants. So why would he give he's a billionaire to begin with? And then they say, well, he's not really a billionaire. What if, let's say he has $80 million. Let's say he has $120 million. That's like, as you can see here, he owes a lot of money. It's like, well, he's in real estate. So he was leveraged. He used the word underlevered, whatever. The point is, the reality does not correlate with liberal ideology. It doesn't correlate. Okay? The United States government literally has his tax returns. What the do you want to know? They want Trump's taxes that the IRS already has. And meanwhile, you have a meth addict, worse, ladies and gentlemen. Then they say, oh, you have a bank account in they say you have a bank account in China. It's like, well, that was a corporation that had a bank account in China. Very different. It's not a secret bank account. It's one of his vast business holdings, which is probably a good thing when you're talking about a billionaire who becomes a politician as opposed to a politician who becomes a millionaire. President Trump is a billionaire who became a politician. Biden is a politician who became a millionaire. Do the math on that. The ultimate Trump warrior, hello. I was looking for the latest polls. A video came up, posted by Reuters, of a man who is correctly pick the presidential election every time, saying Trump is going to lose. I just do not see that happening. I think you're talking about Lichtman, Professor Lichtman. But there's also Helmut Norpoth. So that's Alan Lichtman. But see, he has like a bunch of keys that, like, the way he's looking at, he doesn't, from what I understand, I could be wrong, he doesn't think Trump has charisma. And he doesn't think Trump has any foreign policy achievements. It's like, what? Not only does the man have charisma, he has a certain type of charisma. Bernie Sanders has charisma. Elizabeth Warren, thank you. Thanks a lot, Warren. This is a conversation he had with Elizabeth Warren. This is where the charisma comes in. Warren, thank you. Lizzie, thanks for endorsing me. Yeah, in 2016. Yeah, you remember when you endorsed me? Oh, that was fantastic. Remember, everyone? Lizzie wanted Medicare for all like I did. And she endorsed me. Remember? Oh, that's right, you didn't. You didn't endorse me. You stabbed me in the back. I wasn't even home, but they still keep on calling. The backstabbers. That's right. Oh, and then in 2020, you made up for it by running and taking the vote away from me and tanking any possibility for me to run away with it. And, you said a wonderful little mishigas, what a yenta you are, of a story that never happened where I told you that a woman couldn't win. Is this what I told you, Lizzie? I don't think so. I think you're lying. I think you're making it up, Lizzie. That's the type of charisma. That's the type of charisma that that's the type of charisma that Bernie has. But Trump has the same type of charisma. Fantomos, hello. Trump has the same. Actually, he has charisma that, like, he can actually say, "Look, we've had record low unemployment. We've had record low unemployment." Rahul, so has Helmut Norpoth. Helmut Norpoth has a primary model that he's predicted the past, like, he's only been wrong like twice since 1960, something like that. So Justin Mooney, Botox B's NPC code is written by Apple II, exactly. Apple IIe, Oregon Trail. Justin Mooney, thank you. Divine Petulance. Can you see the old U.S. blues? Can you see these old U.S. blues? Divine Petulance. Thank you. Divine Petulance, thank you so very, very much. William R. Abrams. William R. Abrams, thank you. Sigma Nu, UCLA. William Barr must resign, sitting on the Durham probe too long. Barr wants to please establishment to get on board director's position in the corporation. Rudy Giuliani must step in. You know what? I'm disappointed as well, but the thing is, Sigma Nu UCLA, thank you as always, Sigma Nu UCLA. Here's the thing. Here's the issue with William Barr. William Barr, Mr. President. Here's the issue with William Barr, okay? There's really not much that he can do at this moment without some kind of media support. The media is beyond Orwellian. They're not covering stories. They're sweeping everything. They're pretending things don't exist. They're an extension of the Democratic Party. Now, it could get worse. It could get better. I don't know. It could get worse. It could get better. I'm not sure how everything goes down. Sigma Nu UCLA. Look, there's not going to be a civil conflict. Okay, people say so. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. It could get frightening. I'm not talking in terms of violence, but it could get very frightening in terms of what they do when they lose. they're going to turn on themselves, which will then could lead to, they're going to turn on themselves, Sigma Nu and everybody here, and that could help William Barr tremendously. So Democrats are going to turn on themselves because they don't really like Sigma Nu, UCLA, the Democratic Party, everyone here, the Democratic Party, all 1,300, almost 1,300 people, the Democratic Party is a tent or a umbrella of about 10 to 15, probably 7 to 8 factions. There's the Medicare for All people, there's the Lincoln Project people, there's the I'm With Her crowd, there's the climate change people, there's identity politics, there's the Russia. I guess that's the Lincoln Project people. There's the Green Party people that are kind of in between the Democrats and Green Party. There's the socialists. The socialists who say they're socialists but will eventually vote Democrat. There's a whole bunch of people that don't like each other, that don't agree with one another, and oftentimes despise one another. The ultimate Trump warrior. Yes, saw the keys. I did not think it was the other guy. I think he's giving Trump 91% chance of winning. You rock. Thank you so much. Keep up the good fight. Thank you so very, very much. Yes, I saw the keys. I did not think it was the other guy. I think he is giving Trump 91%. That's right. Yes. I think that. Thank you so very much. There were people also, like the 2016 election ended a lot of people who actually had like we predicted every single election. There was I was watching on Steven Crowder. There was like he interviewed. No, was it Steven Crowder? I forgot who it was, but Maybe it might have been NPR. I don't think it was maybe I forgot who it was, but I don't know how you could confuse the two, but there was one like poll that had to do with cookies in Pennsylvania. And the Trump cookies beat out the Biden cookies, which were stale and probably broke your teeth. And these Biden cookies are about a year old. What is this? There's bacteria growing on. Oh my God. But yeah, so the Trump cookies outsold the Biden cookies, which is pretty awesome. The ultimate Trump warrior. Thank you so very, very much. They don't realize, like, Democrats live by old school dad man, was it? Yeah. Nicoletta, hello. Democrats live by this appeal, this irrational appeal to authority. There's always an appeal to authority with Democrats. Well, why are you voting with Biden? Why are you voting for Biden? Those emails are pretty. They're pretty. This is really horrible, incriminating. Well, 50 intelligence professionals have stated. 50 intelligence professionals have stated this has all the earmarks and all the distasteful odor and all the nefarious fumes of a disinformation campaign coming from Putin's rear end. And are the emails legitimate? Are they real? These have all that. We've had 7,500 intelligence officials. It's like, so who cares? You could also find 1,000 Trump supporters that are experts in a field to sign something. Most government employees are Democrat because they get money from the government. That's why they're Democrats, or that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why. JUB 8891. Hats off to the moderator. Moderator was fantastic. She was fantastic, who was surprisingly neutral and didn't abuse the new mute rule. Actually, if you noticed, I don't know who noticed this, but Biden actually muted himself. He started too early. He actually almost started too early, and it was muted. It kind of makes me a bit suspicious. I mean, I think that I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. JUB 8891. It was, let's see. Kristen Welker was fantastic. She really, really was fantastic. So much better than Chris Wallace, who was like, oh, woe is me. I mean, looking back, I thought Chris Wallace did all right, just because I know most people didn't, but I thought Chris Wallace did all right because I actually wanted President Trump to just rip him a new one, rip Botox be a new one. And then everyone's like, oh my God, oh Trump. But Kristen Welker was very good. She let people speak. She actually gave Biden some tough questions, which of course he fumbled, and he just denies. He doesn't really address any issues. He doesn't actually address. He doesn't address any issues. He just denies. That's all that happens. He just denies. He doesn't Biden doesn't actually, Democrats don't think logically. They think they're completely irrational. So when you, I don't mind what they call whataboutism because it's hypocrisy, but you have to actually, when you bring up the former vice president's son and actual emails that they wrote, see, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign because of emails they wrote. See, who they are exposed equals loss for them. If people know exactly who they are, they don't win. So they say it's Putin who wants you to know who we are. So they have a problem with basic logic. So when asked, when you tell a Democrat, and don't ever debate anyone who's a Democrat or liberal or progressive, they're unable to, well, especially any hardcore Democrat, let's just put it that way. They're unable to see logic and reason, and it's just apoplectic, fuming, seething, hysterical, maniacal, emotional reaction. But it's when you say to anyone, well, these emails are written showing a pay-to-play scheme and kickbacks to the former vice president, they will say, well, what about Kushner and Jared and Kushner and Ivanka Trump and Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr.? And then the rebuttal should be, well, what about them? There's absolutely nothing that they have tried to accuse Trump's kids of that comes close. See, if you want to do whataboutism with Trump, go ahead. I'd love to. We can debate that, no problem at all. Okay? Did Trump cheat somebody in a primary? Did the Republicans cheat somebody in a primary? Oh, that was Democrats who cheated Bernie Sanders. Is Trump denying or trying to not address a policy that he wanted? Every policy Trump brings up, from immigration to foreign policy to domestic policy to economic policy, whether it's tariffs or whatever it is, he wants to do it. Every policy Democrats bring up, they don't want to do it. Green New Deal, it's like tumbleweed, like crickets. You've never heard more silence in your life from Kamala Harris or Biden. Banning fracking? Nope. They said they did. Now they don't. Flip-flop is not even the word. It's just genuine deceit. Pack the courts? They don't want to pack the courts. They do, but then they don't. Then they do, then they don't. They're obviously lying. It's not that difficult. They don't want to pack the courts. They don't want Medicare for all. That's one. President Trump should simply say Medicare for all, but he doesn't. He says socialized medicine. Like, oh, it's Biden care. They can't pass Medicare for all through, so they're going to pass Biden care. And then you know what he says? I forgot what he says. He's like, oh, well, it was a Republican Congress. So what? It was a Republican Senate, and they impeached Trump. You think they care about something not happening? They will go and do anything. They will engage in any action when they want to. When they want to. Tammy Eaton. This sounds like a rerun of this 17 intelligence agencies. Probably a bunch of paid off. Exactly. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Hal, hello. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Joe Boxer, exactly, Tammy. Joe Boxer, the cookies were in. Oh, nice. Hatboro, Pennsylvania, right up the street from home. Nice. Way Biden. Nice. Joe Boxer, thank you. President Trump is going to win. President Trump is going to win. And it's like, even the polls that showed him, that show Biden up, you're seeing them erode because just today Trump has 52% approval, according to Rasmussen. So 52% approval, according to Rasmussen. 52% approval, according to Rasmussen. This is supposed to be the magic number. And it's like October 22nd, 52% approval. He hit 52% on September 25th. Now he's at 52% approval. Look, a lot of this is a function of media. There isn't a story now. Like, Democrats have wasted all their energy the past 4 years. Trump is surging. They're retreating. And I still can't believe they're going with this man who... Biden is so boring, paint watches him dry. So... Joe, thank you. Joe Boxer, thank you. I mean, in terms of what they see, this is the thing. I know who they are from a former Bernie Sanders supporter. I know who they are. They say they want to pack the courts. They're not really going to. They just want to win. They say they want to. They say they want to pack the courts. They say they want to abolish the Electoral College. They say they want to abolish ICE. They say they want a Green New Deal bill. They haven't passed a Green New Deal bill. They passed a resolution. They say they want Medicare for all. They're not. They impeach Trump, but they don't pass a Medicare for all bill through the House. Is that how it works? So you can impeach Trump knowing the Senate will prevent him getting kicked out of office. So you will impeach Trump knowing that it's a political stunt with a short-term, just a short-term political stunt, because there's the Senate isn't going to kick Trump out of office. But you won't pass Medicare for all. You won't pass a Green New Deal bill. You won't abolish the courts. You won't abolish ICE. You won't defund police. You won't abolish the Electoral College because of the Senate is Republican. And these people are like completely and utterly delusional. And it's that's the thing. They don't believe. They simply don't believe in what they say. They simply don't believe in what they espouse. William R. Abrams got Mr. Tiny a Chewy toy named it Mr. Biden. William R. Abrams, thank you. Joe Boxer. Jake Tapper, after the debate, was proclaiming no evidence of wrongdoing by Biden. Exactly. Jake Pacific's challenged him to look at the laptop. Exactly. Jake, this is how Jake Tapper thinks. He's like, well, the emails might actually say that a meeting took place, but we didn't go back in time. Superman didn't fly around the Earth backwards to go to just have time reverse, so we could actually go back and and be at that meeting. It's like, are you kidding me? The standard of proof for Trump is if he went to he urinated in a hotel room. How do you know? Somebody told you. And then they run with it. These are emails that are incriminating, and they're like, oh, we can't prove anything. Joe Boxer, thank you. James Ferguson. Well, there was a weapons shipment recently. That could be that could lead to nuclear confrontation. That's a serious issue. James, yeah, that's a serious issue. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'm hoping there are a great many things that are more serious than, or like infinitely more serious than Facebook ads. Okay, they keep on saying climate change is an existential threat. This is okay. The statement itself might be accurate. The political utility is propaganda. It is true that climate change could very well be an existential threat. When you use that to further your policies, you're also implying that your country could reverse climate change. That is impossible. You would need China and India and other countries. We are going to be the third-ranked economy after China and India. And we've lowered our CO2 emissions more so than most of the countries, or a great many of the countries in the Paris Accords. So, I mean, and we have lower CO2 emissions than at any point in President Obama's administration. That is a fact. So, and that was in 2019 before all the shutdowns. A truly existential threat is nuclear confrontation. That is an existential threat. That is an existential threat. That's a threat that could take place at any moment. But Democrats think that their Facebook ad obsession and the Twitter bot obsession is more important. Then you have the FBI, and this is hilarious. And you have the FBI who's like, oh yeah, this is Director Wray, and we're like, I'm like, oh, is it even possible? Is it even possible that this man is going to talk about the laptop where there's literally emails of graft and bribery and pay-to-play schemes written by the inebriated hands of the vice president's son? Where kickbacks are being given to the big guy? No. What we get is a rehash and a repeat and regurgitation of the same nonsense we've heard for the past 4 years. I don't give a you-know-what about election interference. It is the dumbest, most absurd. It's not even national security because you can't quantify it and you have no way of knowing how many voters care if Debbie Wasserman Schultz cheated Bernie Sanders. And the United States government is highly to moderately confident they're not certain of election interference. You have a whole lot of people who agree there was an election interference. People are not gullible. Democrats think that people are just so impressionable if they don't vote Democrat. It's like, no, you're despised by millions. President Trump has just recently been despised by Democrats. Democrats used to watch him. Democrats used to watch him for over a decade on The Apprentice. Democrats, on the other hand, have been despised by many people, especially Republicans, for decades and decades and decades and decades. So they've and with Madam Secretary, which is one of the things. It's interesting. Like the past 4 years, when I've been saying Madam Secretary is going to be there at the end of the day, the sheer terror, the sheer fright, the level of fear that people get in their eyes or in their comments. It can't happen. It can't happen. But I'm not doing it to just elicit that repulsive emotion, that level of anxiety. It's not like I'm doing it, God forbid, to give people heart palpitations. I really do. I can't imagine they would go with Biden. But see, the Clintons have been despised by millions of people for a long time, for like 30 years, or a great many people, I should say. Or you say millions of people. Trump hasn't. So they had 4 years to try to make Trump just as disliked as Democrats have been for the past 30 years by a great number of Americans. It hasn't worked. The people the only thing they've done is made the people who wouldn't vote for Trump even more apoplectic and even more fanatical. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing they've done. So, if you're thinking like, that, if people say, well, well, Trump is disliked. Well, yeah, people dislike Biden too. People dislike Democrats also. The difference, though, is that President Trump has presided over some pretty amazing things. Record low unemployment is a pretty amazing thing. James Ferguson, thank you. Old school dad man. HA, we need a post-election party in Vegas to meet and greet your wonderful family friend. Old school dad man. Vegas is a fantastic place. I love my viewers. I think it would be fantastic. However, I don't think Vegas is a place to meet anyone. I think that any place with a motto that says what stays there remains there, or what happens there stays there, is probably a place that you don't want to meet people. But old school dad man, that would be an interesting thought. Old school dad man, thank you. Post election party. I mean, it'd be like, old school dad man, thank you. PJP72. He put the banking out story to rest and brilliantly hammered home. Exactly. He's on offense. Exactly. PJP72. Exactly. Exactly. PJP72. Exactly. Jerry Sinke. Once Trump wins, your guess as to who gets indicted after, if any. Jerry, thank you so very much. I mean, probably a low-level FBI agent. I would assume a low-level FBI agent, like Kevin Kleinsmith. It's going to take a while for Jerry. It's going to take a while for. It's going to take a while for William Barr. Because then, okay, this is what's going to happen. After the election, Democrats will be like, no, the sky is falling, no. So, but you know what should happen? Oh, my God. So after the election, he's gonna shortly after, probably like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he'll probably fire the bureau director. So he'll find somebody to replace Christopher Wray, which will be like the end of the world for Democrats. And then they'll want to investigate that. Of course, they'll want to investigate that. Jerry, I don't know. The Durham probe is going to take it's going to take a while. It's going to take some time. And they are going to need media support. The media support will come as the Democratic Party dissolves into the finest mist, the most distilled version of Trump venom, which, by the way, as they sniff and consume, will just alter their beings even more into like these wretched, miserable political creatures. They're turning into, if they can't stand Trump from 2016 to 2020, what do you think is going to happen from 2020 to 2024? If they couldn't stand President Trump for the past 4 years, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? Jerry, thank you. Fox Wizard, thank you. Fox Wizard, thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated, and thank you for your generosity. And please be here. Fox Wizard, please be here. November 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. It's going to be a party on this channel. Look, I've been saying, if I go out on a limb, fine. I've been saying for 4 years as well that President Trump's going 8 years. The most important part of the H.A. Goodman prophecy, I'm joking, is that President Trump goes 8 years. There are people saying this, but they're on YouTube and they're awesome, like Styx and Tim Pool, and not many people are predicting that he goes 8 years. I've been telling you he goes 8 years for the past 4 years. So I also said Clinton, yes. So if I'm not right about that, I'll be right about the most important thing. Biden couldn't win a contest for mayor. Foxy Wizard, thank you so very, very, very much. Fox Wizard, thank you so very, very much. Sigma Nu, UCLA. I don't know. I didn't see that. I didn't see that video, but he does that with everyone. If you get into the vicinity of Biden, he's gonna he'll try to maul you with love. It's a love maul. It's Biden's like, don't you want my touch? Don't you want my? Hey man, don't you? Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm just trying to slobber all over you, give you my love. And then who is it? Was it NPR or somebody had a? Well, there were no other problems except about 10 other people said that there were unwarranted touching. There was unwarranted touching. It's like, what? How is there no other problems but unwarranted touching? How does that work? How does that work? I mean, this is the thing. You look at this debate, it was a travesty for Biden. The reason is because you have somebody who has never accomplished something. What has this man accomplished? President Trump, record low unemployment, first step back, meeting Kim Jong-un in North Korea, first president to step foot in North Korea. President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. And then they try to make that into, oh, you're friends. This is also the Democratic propaganda machine. Oh, you're friends with authoritarians. And then Biden's grasp of history, just like most Democrats, is horrendous. We didn't have a good relationship with the 1930s and 1940s German leader. The former vice president is an absolute fool, and he's ignorant. FDR was helping arm the UK and Churchill. Okay? And there was the Lend-Lease Act. You can look it up. Lend-Lease Act. The Lend-Lease Act stated the U.S. government could lend or lease rather than sell war supplies to any nation deemed vital to the defense of the United States. Under this policy, the United States was able to supply military aid to the British during. Okay, so there you go, and remain officially neutral. Just because the neutrality was not, the United States was not completely neutral, of course. Before December 7th, 1941, we were helping Churchill and the British. That is not good relations with the 1930s and 1940s German leader, you fool, Vice President Biden, who apparently doesn't know anything about history. And equating that to a better relationship with Kim Jong-un and North Korea, I mean, they just want, they peddle in this fear. They peddle in this distorted viewpoint. JMV Entertainment, Black Voices for Trump. Thank you, JMV Entertainment. Thank you so very, very much, Black Voices for Trump. Thank you. Brandon Tatum had a fantastic live stream. A fantastic live stream tonight. He had a fantastic live stream. It was awesome. African American and black men are going to help President Trump tremendously. The Hispanic and Latino vote is going to help President Trump tremendously. That's going to happen. If JMV Entertainment, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so very, very much. Biden wrote the crime bill. He literally is part of the systemic racism and problems that have taken place, that Democrats now say they're trying to address. PJP72, thank you. He destroyed Botox Beyond the Climate too. Exactly. Well, here's the thing. They don't believe in their policies. There is no debate also. What it is you have people convincing voters to vote Democrat. You have people convincing voters to vote Democrat. Trying to vote Democrat. People convincing voters to vote Democrat, knowing that the Democrats will never, ever, ever, ever pass a Green New Deal bill, Medicare for All bill, abolish Electoral College, abolish ICE, defund police, pack the courts. They won't do any of this. They won't do any of this. They don't want any of this. They don't want any of this, number one, and it's just to get voters to vote Democrat. That's it. That's it. That's the only reason. The only reason they had a Green New Deal resolution. Here's a Green New Deal resolution. A Green New Deal resolution is a public relations stunt. That's a resolution is non-binding, and they didn't even vote on it in the Senate. The Democratic Party would be, you'd be able to listen to Democrats if they didn't pontificate. You'd be able to listen to the left at least and kind of see where they're coming from if they didn't pretend they were morally superior. If they didn't pretend that they were God's gift to humanity and the morality and their intellectual morality, and they're so important to the countries. And then he's like, then Biden's like, oh yeah, this is about character. You couldn't find somebody with a more compromised character than Biden. Ask Tara Reid. Ask Tony Bobulinski. You couldn't find somebody with a more compromised. You couldn't find a more compromised individual. You don't. Okay, 40 years in government doesn't give you $9 million or $10 million. Sorry, doesn't happen. Nobody asks, how did you get $10 million? People know how Trump got his money. People know how Trump got his money. People know this. People know this. Exactly. JMV Entertainment, exactly. Vote blue no matter who is finished, along with dirty Democrats. Yeah, Democrats. The dirty demon rats, exactly. Vote blue no matter who. That's what Bernie Sanders says. Vote blue no matter who, even if they don't want anything we say. JMV Entertainment, exactly. Exactly. Excellent point. Thank you. Banana Bishop, silent majority, please tell them why. A silent majority is going to be a silent vote of every demographic. There is a fantastic stand-up from Cat Williams. I love Cat Williams. He's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the best comedians. I think I'd say he's one of the best comedians ever. Definitely one of the best comedians today. And Cat Williams has an hilarious stand-up where in 2016 he says that he goes, white people sure know how to keep a secret because nobody knew. Because he was talking about CNN, how before the election, CNN was like, there's no way Trump could win. He has to win here, that. And then, according to, all the people in media or whatever, nobody likes Trump. And then afterwards, they find out that, Trump won 52% of white women, and then the white vote by astronomical numbers. And he has a great stand-up where it's like, everyone kept a secret. Okay? But that's also the case. There are so many African American, Latino, Asian Americans. Every group is not. They're not telling family members they're voting for Trump because they don't need to. They don't need to. Because the reaction is apoplectic, fuming, seething. You're voting for who? It's the reaction, ladies and gentlemen. You don't tell a family member who doesn't like Trump you're voting for Trump. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. JMV Entertainment, thank you. Banana Bishop, thank you. California Veteran, please tell us how baby quail votes would go to Hillary Lee. Thanks, and may God bless you abundantly. God bless you. California Veteran, God bless you. Contingency plan right here. It's a former DNC chairman calls for Clinton contingency plan. Politico. So I don't trust them. I'm expecting Madam Secretary any day now. I know. Anybody wants to give me heat? They give me heat when we party on November 3rd. Former DNC chairman calls for Clinton. This is an article by Kyle Cheney, September 12, 2016. I don't trust them. don't trust the Democrat. Don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Something's going on. Something's going on. So, another challenge, most states have passed the deadline to change the names of candidates on their ballots, meaning Clinton's name would likely be required to appear, short of a court-ordered solution or change in state laws. Academics argue this issue will be moot because it's up to members of the Electoral College, typically loyal partisans, to cast formal ballots for president. If a replacement for Clinton, or in this case Botox be the exhumed body, were offered, those electors in states won by Democrats would almost certainly cast ballots for the party's preferred nominee, the last person standing. Still, Clinton's campaign is going to great lengths to quash any talks that she won't fully bounce back. There you go. So it's an article, California veteran in Politico, former DNC chairman calls for Clinton contingency plan. This was in 2016. So, exactly. Braden Spartan, exactly. Plural one, exactly. Braden, exactly. Vernon Wright, UK are paying close attention here. Plenty of debate as this election directly affects us. Vernon, to my UK viewers, Vernon Wright, thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And it's just fantastic to be able to have viewers in the UK. I'm very honored. It's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, President Trump's going to win. President Trump's going to win. Biden has never won. He's never been a viable candidate. In 88, he was kicked out because of plagiarism, actually plagiarizing a UK politician. Neil Kinnock, leader of the British Labour Party. But it was such a bad job of plagiarism that he didn't just take like a statement or a quote. Biden tried to tailor his life experiences to the life experiences of Neil Kinnock. Who does that? Like, even if you have similar life experiences, like the way he said it was like exactly the same, almost the same verbatim. I think it was verbatim, the speech. Vernon Wright, thank you. Voice of reason. They're not shy Trump voters. They've threatened Trump voters. Voice of reason. Thank you. Well, a lot of people have. Exactly. Vernon Wright, thank you again. Thank you, Vernon Wright. Thank you. Yeah, the left is completely out of it. They've completely lost any semblance of normality. Or they talk about Trump and decency. It's a morally inferior position to vote against President Trump this election. President Trump is the only person standing. He's standing in front of a very corrupt, insidious media and a nefarious political establishment and cutthroat intelligence officials and opportunistic and vile and short-sighted and truly, truly dangerous foreign policy imbeciles named, well, let's just put it this way. The Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld foreign policy of bringing peace and democracy to countries that, interestingly enough, the Lincoln Project people never visit. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why the Lincoln Project people don't take wonderful public relations visits to Tripoli and to Kabul and to Baghdad. And look, we've done this foreign policy. Very good. It was wonderful. Why don't they do that? Oh, that's right. Because they can't do that. Because if they did that, they would risk their lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'm going to have an upload right now. You've been all absolutely wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. To my moderators, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, you're absolutely fantastic. We're approaching 2 hours. This has been an epic live stream. And I just want to thank all of you. And it's been a fantastic journey. It's been a fantastic journey. And the truth is, I take everything lighthearted, and I have a lot of fun talking to everybody here. But the stakes could not be higher this election. This is not only the future of the country, in many ways, the future of the world. Democrats have already had 8 years prior to President Trump. They've destroyed Libya. They've sent Americans to countries that even George W. Bush didn't send them to. We had the most horrendous, the most absurd nuclear deal where military installations were off limits, and there were 23 ballistic missile tests. And the problem with the Democratic Party, in addition to the fact that they don't want any of the policies their most idealistic voters want, the problem with the Democratic Party is that they will utilize the United States government, whether it's intelligence agencies, and they'll utilize the media to their benefit in the most disgusting ways, whether it's setting up and framing President Trump or trying to silence Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard. They go left, and then they go to Trump to the right, and they want a certain type of very bizarre world where your speech is curtailed, but if there's a military intervention where Americans are stationed in counterinsurgency conflicts forever, they're okay. They're okay with counterinsurgency conflicts. They're okay with interventions that destroy countries like Libya. They're okay with mass incarceration until it becomes fashionable to be against it. But they're not okay with something that's bad that you've said on Twitter, which is, by the way, I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook. If you see anyone impersonating me, they're breaking the law. Take screenshots and take screenshots of any profile impersonating me and report them to Twitter or Facebook. But Ghost Dog, hello. But this is very, very, very important. November 3rd is going to be a paradigm-changing moment. It's going to be a paradigm-changing moment. And it'll be an honor to be with everybody here, and I look forward to having an amazing live streams all throughout November. Tell your friends about this channel. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman's other channel. The links will be below. I have my website coming out, and if you want to be part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. contactgoodman78@gmail.com. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. Be here at 1 p.m., but I'll see you in about 10 minutes. I will see you in about 10 minutes because I have an upload in about 10 minutes. So be here on this channel. Let's get to, please, let's get to 160,000 subs. We get to 160,000, the sky's the limit. What happens with YouTube is that for live streams, for some reason, the algorithm doesn't attract a lot of subscribers for some reason. So I've been stuck at 150 for a while. But tell your friends about this channel. God bless you all. I'll see you in about 10 minutes on this channel. Be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Miller Chillmore, thank you. Trump delivered exactly what we all wanted to see from him from this debate. Exactly. PJP72. I know 50 million people have voted, but why Dems act like they own the early vote? Just because of polls. The problem is their early vote totals in swing states aren't what they think. Aren't as they're not doing as well as they think in swing states, and that's the big key. Thanks everybody. God bless. Scorp Target, thank you so very, very much. Jay Carroll, thank you so very, very much. Everyone here, thank you. God bless. I will see you all in about 10 minutes, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific on this channel. Thanks everybody. It's been absolutely fantastic.